Howdy, 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 my name is Inachi Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Play Hiveswap Friendsim, or Friendship Simulator. I was about to say Friendship Simulator and then stumbled. Anyway, this is episode 20, I believe, if my count is not bad. And let's go ahead and head in there. Today, volume 11 should be coming out, as of me recording this. And let's, friendships, blah blah, friend, blah 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 blah. So in the last episode, we did ZBD Tangva, who really liked bees and also wrote fan fiction about real people, which, happened. So, well, real people in this universe. And then over here we have Tagiri Caliber, who turns into a JoJo character when you scroll over him. So him, Happy Bee, him, yada yada yada. I've never actually heard how he pronounces the last bit. I always hear the yari yari for good grief, but I've never heard the daze. I just see the daze. Anyway. Tagiri. In an utterly unsurprising turn of events, the night finds you trolling, Alternia in search of, well, trolls. The friendly type, preferably, although you've been known to work wonders with hostile folks, too. Your current hunting ground appears to be primarily a teal neighborhood, which suits you fine. Teals live relatively comfortably and are usually only mildly disdainful of you. This strikes you as a good place to search for companionship. I'm gonna say right now, before any of the music drops, I hope it's original Homestuck music or whatever, because if it turns out that it's just straight up JoJo music, I'm probably going to just have a laughing fit. Also, I can see there's just graffiti of the Empress back there. And what appears to be a church. You've got another pressing concern, though. A faint glow far on the horizon which suggests that the sun will be rising soon. A couple of hours from now at most. Nights on Alternia seem to last forever, but when the daylight hits, it hits hard. Like a truck, but the truck is on fire, and the fire is nuclear fusion, and the truck is a star. Point is, you're not in the mood for another sunburn. You better snag a buddy before it's too late. You! The strange horn, is that supposed to be his else? Hornless thing! Alright, cool. I recognize this music. Speak of the devil! You whip around and spot a troll boy with a stylish hat and sword sheathed behind his back. His clothes are a little shabby, but he carries himself with a rigid, composed air. Should I turn this down a little? That's a little. Who are you? Some kind of mutant troll? Or another sentient creature? Definitely the latter, you say, unless he would prefer the former, in which case you're that, actually. But mutants, you've learned, are not particularly well liked on this planet. An alien. I won't have to cull you then. Not immediately, at least. You don't appear to be on a cull on site species. Lucky for you that I will have to loose my blade. And lucky for me to have found a potential comrade. I know what you seek. Shelter and friendship, not necessarily in that order. You're about to speak up, but he's already moving on. You seek the meeting place of the Eastern Alternian Fine Animated Art Appreciation Society. Or the Yafas. Or as some less cultured souls would call it, the Anime Club. Oh, a club! Back home, teachers used to go on and on about how clubs were a wonderful place to meet new friends. You didn't really believe it then, but maybe things are different here on Alternia. You confidently assert that yes, you were here for the animes! Good. I feared I was going to have to cancel tonight's meeting due to no-shows, but now I can proceed as scheduled. Follow me. He gestures towards... Is that thunder or a truck? Thunder truck! Sorry, he gestures towards his hive and begins to stride confidently towards it, but then he rethinks it, pausing to look back at you. Wait, subs or dubs? We're gonna do this? Personally, both are good. His expression immediately sours, a look you're all too familiar with. If you had a mouse, you'd be frantically throw the wheel upwards to roll back and make a new choice. But you'll live in the real world where you have to face the consequences of your god-awful anime opinions. Have you no conviction? The Anime Club is a sanctuary for those of strong will and finely honed arguments, not a shelter for cowardly pissants. What debate can come from a sycophantic toady such as yourself? How are you going to stimulate my intellect? You begin to sputter and protest. You're plenty of stimulating. You've got a pretty long list of friends who you've stimulated in all kinds of ways. Laconic ones, mostly. But he's not having any of it. There are other anime fans in this city. Perhaps their gatherings will be more your level. Farewell. As he does the Asuka, sorry you neck thing. Is it Asuka Langley sorry you, or is it Asuka sorry Langley? I've never thought about it, but this is just gonna be that episode. So, that's one bad ending, because I'm fine with the subs or the dubs of anime. So if y'all want to attack me in the comments for that, feel free. I really don't give a shit. Anyway. Subs. Are you fucking kidding me? Excuse me for Crunchyroll having no other options except for Digimon, but I don't want to have to do that to my ears. It's entertaining how wrong you are, but even the greatest of Alternia's philosophizers required sparring opponents on the battlefield of the intellect. Should I give him a shitty voice? It should be like he looks like he shouldn't have a shitty voice, but at the same time, I knew someone who was kind of exactly like this, and he was kind of a prick. But he didn't have a prick voice, he had a normal voice, so I guess it's okay. To challenge your assumptions with my superior logic and tastes will be a fulfilling task. Come in. Not really the reaction you were hoping for, but you'd say anything to get into someone's hive, so you'll take it! Let's see now. How many of these references can I recognize? It's not so much that I'm recognizing references, so much as I'm... Well, that looks like it's a Spirited Away reference up there. But it looks predominantly like it's just anime girls. Although there's a troll, and body pillows of various people. Ninja Star! Sneaky bitch throws knives! I know that's a YouTube video from when I was a teenager, but I can't remember what it was. That looks like it's just straight up a picture of Riska, and like the upper left-hand corner just behind his sword hilt. I actually don't think you guys can see the arrow of me pointing at all these things I'm talking about, but a lot of these look like they're just people from Homestuck proper. Anyway, Tagiri invites you into his hive with a sweeping bow, and then you step into the foyer. The troll looks normal from the hive looks normal from the outside, the troll does not. Normal by troll standards at least, but the inner decor has an entirely different vibe to it. It reminds you of Japanese architecture. Tagiri takes off his sandals before entering the next room. You take off your shoes too if you had any. Oh man, you've been barefoot this whole time? Ew. As you step into his living room, you are assaulted, not literally, thankfully, by an absolute smorgasbord of merchandise. This place looks like someone did a Google search for otaku collection and opened the first result. Posters and scrolls adorn every inch of wall available, and the inches of wall that aren't available are blocked by shelves containing all sorts of DVDs, manga, and other such forms of media. Manga, mangoes, whatever. On a large glass shelving unit near the room's exit, you spy a veritable cornucopia of anime figurines, most of whom seem to be in varying states of undress. Is that one of the robots from Nier Automata? Because I feel like that's what that's supposed to be. That one's probably Luffy. Not sure what these other ones are. I'm not as caught up on anime as I should be. I'm working on it. You would like to describe it as tasteful nudity, but you would also like to describe yourself as the most popular person in Alternia, and both would be a lie. Tagiri has arranged his merch meticulously according to blood color, from red at the bottom to fuchsia at the top. How would you know? Did the shows just say that? I see you're admiring my fine East Alternian collectibles. I polish them daily, just as I polish my blade. I'm sure you do. Don't touch them or you'll taste folded steel. You slowly retract your hand? You wouldn't dream of touching them! That was never ever something you were planning on doing! You won't even breathe on them. In fact, you step far away from the collectibles just in case. With that step, you bump into something behind you and hear a soft roof. As you spin around to look, you see what must be Tagiri's glasses surveying you with an intense gaze. It's a doggo, with what appear to be hands. It looks a lot like a Shiba Inu if they were twice the size and had opposable everything. Honestly, watching it scale around like a monkey while sniffing at you is pretty entrancing. Eventually you seem to meet its standards because it darts out of the room. You hear some rustling in what you assume is the kitchen? That was Tadashi Inu, my Lussus. He taught me everything I know. I could not have asked for a better sensei. Now, when you say he taught you everything you know, does that mean your dog Lussus taught you to be an anime nerd? Or otaku, as it were? Yeah, dogs are great, you responded, then immediately wish you could take that back. Dogs are great. That's gotta be the blandest possible statement you could have made. And possibly inaccurate, too. What's this thing called? A bark beast? A fetch fiend? A wolf gremlin? Oh, Tagiri isn't even paying attention to you anymore. He's busy perusing his shelves, picking out some DVDs. Per my viewing schedule, we'll watch a carefully curated selection of episodes from one classic and one from recent release. But, since you're a newcomer, it might be best not to jump into the middle of the Last Bout series, Philosopher's Half Iron. Philosopher Half Iron. Perhaps we shall instead begin with the first season of School-Fed Heroism and transition into some episodes of Kismet Stuck Morning. Since you're a newcomer, it might be best to it went backwards. Why does it do that sometimes? The original airing, of course, not the censored one with the ridiculous CGI dragon. What? Looks like Tagiri intends to take full control of the morning's activities, which you find entirely copacetic. The less you need to insert your own opinions and make up your own choices, the less likely you are to fuck up. It's probably not a healthy way to live, but it's gotten you somewhere between 1 to 19 friends so far, so you're sticking to it. With deft and precise movements, Tagiri retrieves a disc from its container and pops it into the troll equivalent of a DVD player. It makes a slimy chugging noise as it sucks the disc in, and like usual, you aren't sure if it's an inanimate object or a living being. It's a living. Either way, you're a little disgusted. The DVD player hums and Tagiri's TV lights up with a colorful title screen. You're ready to get settled in for a journey through the wonderful world of the animes, but he frowns and pauses the episode less than a minute in. Hang on. This isn't the correct copy. The localization on these lines was changed after the original translator was called by a purple blood for crimes against buffoonery. I specifically ordered the first edition and paid extra for it. This is unacceptable! Tagiri stops the DVD player, ejects the disc, and places it back in its case. Come on, there's still time in the night. We need to go resolve this immediately. The shop that imported it for me is nearby. Are you going to buy a new one or are you going to call them? He heads through the door and beckons you to follow, which you do. You guess it was too much to hope for a quiet morning inside, wasn't it? At least you get to go shopping for animes, which sounds fun enough. Will it be one of those fancy automated stores, you wonder? No. Unlike most stores on Alternia, this specialty shop is run by a living troll. A fellow collector who wouldn't not entrust such work to automation. So one would expect, with an actual think pan involved, there would be no careless mistakes like this. At least I'm on good terms with the owner, so I doubt there will be trouble. You, on the other hand, expect plenty of it. Pretty much everything on this goddamn planet has been trouble so far. Does he know how awful it is here? You don't want to human-splain to him or anything, but things are pretty awful here. Things are pretty awful here. Oh, you guess he knows. He's staring at one of the many billboards that line the streets, which has been defaced with some bright red graffiti. It says some pretty nasty stuff about Treza. Rebel sentiments grow by the moment. Alternia lies on the verge of peril, a blade's edge. And not any blade, but the blade of a razor-sharp folded steel katana. Forged under the East Alternian moonlight. Heated by the bellows breath of a magnificent draconian Lessus. Cooled by the shimmering cascade of an acid waterfall. And fit to be handled only by a true expert. Do you dance? You're a little caught off guard by that question. Dancing as in moving one's body to music? In a way, yes. Moving to the sweet music of steel on steel. The rhythm of combat, the stiletto step that weaves death and glory into one beautiful motion. So the fighting system of Assassin's Creed 2. Do you dance? Oh, sword fighting, of course. You really should have figured that one out. This guy's dial has only 2 settings, talking about swords or talking about anime. Sometimes he gets particularly frisky and talks about both at once. Ow, I hit my knuckles on my keyboard. You telling me you don't know how to handle the swords, but they seem really cool and you'd love to learn? Cool? Swordplay is more than cool. It's a way of life, a code of honor. To pick up the blade is to bind yourself to the tenets of Bushido, and to be prepared at all times to enforce justice the only way a swordsman knows. Through steel. Someday the pursuit of justice may bring me face to face with these rebel scum. I must be ready to show them the true magnificent terror of the blade. Who knows? Maybe I would even be awarded a Clown-Congressional Medal of Honor. Troll can dare to dream. So that's why he practices swordplay, huh? To enforce justice, kind of like a vigilante? Vigilante? Please. I would only ever call a troll who legally deserve death. What kind of lawless moron do you take me for? You don't take him for a moron at all. In fact, he's very smart and clever and just. You hope you're not landed on too thick, but he seems to enjoy the praise. Ah, we're here. This won't take long. He's taking you to a night market that reminds you of the place where you met Polyba. A strip mall lies to the left of the many tents and stalls, and a sign above one door reads Super Tomato Imports. Now, hey, Overwatch. I definitely saw Overwatch. Let's see, we got this Overwatch, Mega Man, somebody playing an arcade machine, another arcade machine not being played, a Silodex, what might be a Pokemon, a Scale Sprite, lots of DVDs, what might be a PS1 and an iPod, and a desktop computer. Anyway, as you enter, Tagiri makes a beeline for the counter, which is manned by a greasy-looking gold bloke with pinkish-looking eyes. You, on the other hand, are more interested in the rest of the store. Looks a lot like Tagiri's living room, but bigger. Anime figurines on sale for looks like a preposterous amount of money, DVDs and comics lining the shelves, arcade games in the corner. There's even a selection for replica swords, which all look far too sharp and legitimately deadly for your liking. I don't see the swords, maybe he's in the way. Skulking between the shelves is an olive blood guy. You can't quite tell if he works here or if he's just browsing. You're not sure if any trolls even have normal jobs. You're about to ask the olive guy about a particularly interesting DVD when you're distracted by a commotion at the counter. You're pretty sure you heard Tagiri snarling something about his rights as a consumer? Looks like trouble is brewing. You turn your head towards the counter, listen in. Do you really think you could get away with ripping me off like this? You know who I am? My blood caste? A teal blood like me has connections. A vast network of like-minded souls at my beck and call, ready to be unsheathed against my hapless foes. The legal force I can bring to bear against you is greater than your puerile? I've never seen that word before. Mind could ever imagine. A fleet of legislators will descend on you like shadow clones, each armed with the greatest weapon of them all, knowledge. It's not the greatest weapon of them all, but and with our intricate understanding of the Alternian legal code, you will be mired in suits so myriad, so mind-numbing, you will wish for the swift and early death my blade can provide. Or, you can offer me an exchange of equal or greater value to my original purchase. Which path will you choose to walk, scum? You wander closer to the counter, hoping you might be able to resolve the situation, but instead you blunder right into the olive blood and send a box tumbling from his hands to the ground. A bunch of assorted products spill out as the shopkeeper gasps dramatically. You don't see what the big deal is. Looks like some more DVDs and manga. One cover features a troll with heart-shaped horns and a bright pink sign, and another features some red blood douchebag wearing pants way too tall for him. Tagiri picks up one of the mangas and waves it in front of the shopkeeper's face. Care to explain what I'm looking at here? Imperial Dictate Number of the Second, Section 3.2! The depiction of non-standard hemological attributes is strictly forbidden. Imperial Dictate Number the 7th, Section 5, material which encourages action against the state is considered contraband of the highest degree. The olive blood, who can clearly see the situation careening downhill like a scuttle buggy without wheel stops, begins to creep toward the door. You'd love to do the same, but you can't give up on a potential new friendship. It's basically pathological. To think my favorite Eastern Alternian hobby shop could stoop so low as to peddle this criminal filth. What a sickening betrayal. The shopkeeper stammers, offering a litany of muddled explanations that only seem to incense Tagiri further. He was holding it for a friend! No, wait, it's satire? Tagiri slams a palm down on the counter and his eyes shoot open, revealing dark purple irises with a strange swirl pattern. Is that a fucking Sharingan? Imperial Dictate Number the 61st, Section 2! Satire is especially contraband! You think you can mess with me? I've watched countless hours of legal drama, Law and Order. Dun dun! Played and replayed Legendary Legislator and memorized every twist. I know the law back and forth. Is that Phoenix right? And now it's time for the punishment due. You're fucking dead, kiddo. As Tagiri leans over the counter, his free hand grips the hilt of his katana and tenses, ready to draw. He's about to straight up execute this guy. Let's defend the shopkeeper. Okay, you know, this is a terrible idea, but you seriously had it up to here with being party to the murder of random trolls. Who quickly interposes yourself between Tagiri and the Gold Blood. Does he really have to kill this guy for what seems to be his first offense? You launch into an impassioned spiel about love and friendship and justice. Writing the value of forgiveness and second chances really hard. And for good measure, you throw in a little side note about how Tagiri's favorite shop will close down if he kills this dude. Silence! Tagiri shoves you roughly aside and you go careening into a display full of body pillows. As you watch, stomach plummeting, as Tagiri turns back to the shopkeeper and slowly draws his sword. But then, at the last second, he reconsiders. Ugh. Consider yourself lucky I'm in a good mood. If I catch you selling contraband again, your life will be mine. Tagiri strides out of the store holding a fresh copy of the DVD he wanted to exchange. You give the shopkeeper a vaguely apologetic look and rush out of the store behind him. Woo! That was a close one! You thank Tagiri profusely for listening to your dumb little speech about whatever it was you said? Honestly, you already forgot. You're clearly new to this planet. I felt pity for your naivety. But I should have just killed him. Death is the legally prescribed punishment for such crimes as his. Actually, it's the legally prescribed punishment for most crimes. I should have separated him from his head. But I looked into your pleading eyes and I saw... Tagiri goes quiet. We describe the silence as being particularly brooding. There's a lot of silences like that on this planet. Then, finally, he speaks. This isn't my first time. It was just over a week ago, I believe. I was patrolling the Hive Batch in search of evildoers when I caught the unmistakable scent of smoke in the air. Upon pursuing the lead, I saw a hive partially collapse, partially on fire. My instincts flared, and I rushed in to help the innocent soul who was trapped there. But as I was helping the girl bandage her wounds, it occurred to me that I had made a grievous error in judgment. Trolls below a certain age with adolescence or a proper hive are considered unviable and slated to be culled. By rights, I should have put her out of her misery the moment I realized my mistake. And yet, I looked into her deep gray eyes, dulled from the pain of loss, and I sheathed my blade. In fact, even though she's hiveless and lustless, I remain in contact with her to this day, knowing deep down that one day I must cull her. The law demands it. But I haven't yet. I don't know if I could. Why does my conviction waver at times like these? If he's talking about who you think he's talking about, you're pretty sure he couldn't kill her even if he tried. What? Who could he be talking about? But that's not the point here. The point is, he's spilling some real and true and deep emotion with you. Backstory even. This friendship is basically in the bag. Just gotta drop some sweeping, vague wisdom that makes him feel better about potentially not being an unthinking cog in the Alternian murder machine. You offer a light suggestion that maybe what is legal and what is just aren't always the same thing? Just a little thought. Maybe he's doing the right thing, overlooking her situation because of how obviously fucked up it is to be a homeless orphan. He goes silent for a long time, chewing his bottom lip. You're naive. Naive, uncultured, unenlightened. Wow, thanks! You think the world is simple, like a cartoon for children. But this is Alternia, a land ruled by cold logic where men such as myself must make the hard decisions. It's not easy being dedicated to the code of law. It asks much of us and gives us little in return, but it gives us order! It keeps the beast at bay. If I were to question it, what then? What would I begin to wonder if it is unjust for a blue blood to command his servants, for Imperial drones to call the infirm, for us to obey the ever-changing whims of the Alternian royalty? There's a lot of effort to suppress your well, yeah, but for the sake of this burgeoning friendship, you allow him to continue his monologue? Riots in the streets, troll killing troll, even more than usual, I mean. No, I cannot waver. These hands must remain steady and true! Though I feel a pull towards the scorching fangs of the light, I must continue my path and remain in this tender, righteous embrace of the dark. Truth be my blade, intellect my sensei, and justice my only companion on this lonely road. He goes on like that for quite a while. It all starts to muddle together in your head, and you lose count of how many times he repeated some screed about justice and truth, and being smarter than all the other trolls in the room. It honestly sounds to you like he's just lonely. You know a whole lot about loneliness and the poor management thereof. Some people throw themselves into their nerdy anime hobby, and others become obsessed with making friends no matter the cost of their mental or physical well-being. Maybe he just needs a couple of good pals to remind him what it's like to have a heart. But if you try to tell him that, he'll probably just respond with another long and winding monologue, likely stolen from an anime he watched recently. Maybe you should just let him vent. You have my thanks for lending your ear. Oh, a compliment brings you out of your reverie. Nothing interrupts the old introspection machine like the opportunity to chug on the succulent ambrosia that is any kind of praise or gratitude. It's no big deal, you tell him. You're a great listener. That's what friends are for. Has he considered having more friends? Like you, for example. He opens his mouth like he's about to reiterate the whole lone swordsman thing, so you hastily try to change the topic. What's with his eyes? Most trolls you've seen have had gray irises, and those who didn't follow the typical biological trend of displaying their blood color. Tagiri pauses, his grip tensing on his sword as his fangs dig into his lip. Ah, jeez. This must be his most closely guarded secret. Have you earned enough trust to hear it? The contact lenses. For cosplay. Oh. Fair enough. Actually, is cosplaying as a different blood caste even legal on this planet? If he's doing it, it probably is, right? You're about to ask when something distracts you, the sight of another troll standing in front of Tagiri's hive, using it as shelter from the rising sun. They're pacing back and forth with precise movements, glancing at one of the windows, almost like they're plotting to break in. And when they hear footsteps approaching, they perk up and whirl their head around. Hey, wait a second, you recognize them. It's Philippa! Yay! I was so afraid it was going to be fucking Zebra. Philippa spots you before Tagiri spots her. Her expression is hard and stoic, eyes glancing between the two of you as she assesses the situation. And then, unless she's throwing on a disguise, her face softens and she smiles. Hey, Tex. I was starting to wonder where you were and if anime night was cancelled. Your Lessus is staring at me through the window. I think he thinks it's funny watching me stuck outside, roasting to death while you're chasing purpies around the hive batch. Classic Tadashi. Why were you late? Just busier than expected with some work. She shoots you a sharp glance. Assembling some new mecha models. You know how it is. Yes, of course. It's all too easy to get wrapped up in one's hobby. Anyway, I didn't realize we'd have a third for once. Not to mention somebody I know. Nani? You and my new Kohai have already met? She pauses, eyes darting back and forth between you two once more. She seems to be assessing the situation, wearing a look like an assassin trying to evade capture. You recognize that look, considering she was literally wearing it the last time you met. We're kinda Moirails. Whoa! That's absolutely not what you thought you were, but you just kinda nod your head and roll with it. It seems to be what she wants you to do. Oh, Moirails. Tagiri's face tightens almost imperceptibly, but you caught it. Nothing gets past your honed friend-making eyes. Well, actually, a lot of things get past them, but not this particular thing. You're finally tuned to the nuances of social situations, as long as those nuances don't involve making a binary choice on which your social future hinges. Well, as you know, I'm far too busy studying the blade to pursue quadrants of any sort. It's a foolish waste of time. Were it not for the laws of this land, I would swear off them entirely. Are you sure it isn't that you just can't get a date? You don't have to play the mysterious loner, you know. There's other clubs you could join instead of insisting on running your own. He huffs, looking away. He hears Les's barking from behind the window in a tone that sounds like laughter. Fools mock that which they cannot understand. And to think I was going to congratulate you on finding love. Once you finished your spiel about romance being dumb, Philippa gives him a light, friendly whop, which he responds to with a smile. You can tell the exchange is friendly, not only because he's smiling, but because he's still standing. Enough banter! The harsh glare of the sun begins to crest, and we have Eastern Alternian animation to indulge in. I'll allow you both to spend the day at my hive if needed. There's space. Oh shit, a slumber party? And with more than one participant even? That's gotta be worth extra friend points. You are so in. Shelter from the whirling death orb in the sky barely even registers to you as an added bonus. Philippa smiles at you as the three of you enter the Tagiri's hive. This is such a long episode, oh my god. Probably because of the anime. Did Tadashi just say something in Japanese? Tagiri covers up all his windows to block the sun and then starts up the new copy of his DVD, which thankfully seems to meet his standards this time. You settle in on the couch, basking in the warm glow of friendship, and prepare to lose yourself to hours of the beautiful, wonderful animes. So let's see now, there's the troll Japanese. Philippa's really into it. He's being snooty with his anime soda. I think it's called Marble Soda. They sell it at Five Below. I really like it. I just haven't gotten it in a while. He's petting the Doge. So, I found one bad ending and one good ending, and there's still more choices that are going to lead to more endings. So, how many endings is this going to have? Boop. Okay, so, I believe I chose subs. Let him kill the dude. You really don't want to get in between the shopkeeper and Tagiri's sword. For all you know, this really does warrant an immediate execution. You're the judge. You do, however, squint a little so you don't have to see the full gory detail of the culling. Turns out, it's not nearly as gory as you expected. Tagiri leaps over the counter and swings wildly at the guy, but many of his attacks fail to connect. It's mostly a bunch of bombastic anime-style moves that don't translate well to actual combat. Still, some strikes hit home, drawing a spray of murky gold blood that jolts the shopkeeper out of his petrified fear. He screeches and unleashes a strobing psionic blast from his eyes, causing Tagiri to stagger back disoriented. The flash of light doesn't seem to have caused any real damage, but it offers a perfect opportunity to flee. By the time your eyes have adjusted the only thing they see is the back door swinging wildly in his wake. Unsurprisingly, the Isle of Blood is nowhere to be seen as well. Tagiri glances down at his katana, stained with the blood of the shopkeeper, and slowly sheathes it. You're supposed to wipe that off first, dude. That's gonna mess up the sheath. His hand is shaking, claws tapping the hilt restlessly. He turns slowly to you, forcing himself back into his usual stoic posture. He got lucky, that's all. But he can't hide forever. Let's go, we need to report this to a drone. He strides out of the shop, leaving you to follow hurriedly behind. What a mess. You hesitantly ask him whether it was really necessary to try and kill that boy for what he did. Of course it was. The law is absolute. A foreigner like you might not understand. It is not my duty to question the righteousness of my actions. I am but a tool through which the law is enforced. I am the blade that Her Imperious Condensation wields to maintain order in this world of chaos. Just like this drone. He gestures to one of the big hulking drones that you've grown all too familiar with during your stay here on Alternia. Right now, it looks like it's cleaning up some bronze-colored blood that was spattered on the side of a building. Tagiri approaches and hails it, beginning to explain that there's a collector's shop he needs to report for rebel activity, but the drone isn't listening to any of that. It slowly turns from him to stare directly at you, and it raises its weapon to your face. A grating electronic noise issues from its metallic grill, and the immortal words of a wise cartoon dog, "Ruh-roh! Hold it! This creature's under my protection. It has committed no crime. If you continue this attempted calling, I will strike back with my katana." And a strongly worded letter to your superiors. The drone seems supremely annoyed that it can't just get right down to calling a motherfucker, but Tagiri's cast must be just high enough to give it pause. You, the motherfucker in question, are incredibly relieved. That relief quickly fades when the drone produces a palm husk with a blurry picture of you on the screen and a lot of text beneath, most of it flashing red. That's never a good sign. It looks like a rap sheet. Tagiri reads it quickly, which is a pretty impressive feat considering his eyes are still closed, and his expression darkens the further down he gets. Wanted under suspicion of meat product theft. Heist of fine art. Accomplice to the assassination of a Violet Blood? Oh, you didn't realize you'd racked up such a heavy list of crimes. He's already rounding on you with fury radiating off every inch of his being. It's terrifying. You've seen this guy arguing with the retail clerk, you know what he's capable of. All this time I thought your soul was open to the way of the samurai. Or the samurai. I thought I had met a potential new connoisseur of the animated arts. But no. Your blood pusher pumps only lies through your villainous veins! You were just looking for an alibi, a place to bide your time, to hide away from the drones until it was time to indulge once more in your criminal ways! You tried to defend yourself, you didn't do any of those things, and you had a perfectly good reason for most of them. Tagiri isn't buying it. He's clutching his katana tilt so tight, veins are bulging on his hand. Silence, coward! The time has come for my blade to strike true! Ah! He draws his blade in a smooth motion and swipes at you, and you just barely manage to sidestep the attack. You dart backwards, stumbling over yourself in your haste to get away, while he swings his katana wildly around while making loads of weird grunting noises. Once again, his mouth has been writing a check his sword can't catch, but you doubt that matters when trolls are stronger and faster than you in general, and he's accompanied by a giant murder drone. It's time for you to split, and you better do it lickety. Glancing around, you notice that you're about to cross over a bridge with an underpass beneath it. Perfect! Just like an action hero, you hop right over the edge of the road, duck into the underpass, and find a nice hiding spot. You dash towards the traffic barrier, vault nimbly over it, and Jill, Jesus, piss, this is way higher than you thought it was. You hit the ground hard with a resounding crack, and for a moment your vision goes blank as a wave of pain sears your nerves. As the pain disorientation begins to fade, you decide it's about time to take stock of your situation. A couple of broken bones, old hat. A troll trying to kill you, not unfamiliar. Drones attacking you, same. And sun about to rise to scorch you into nothing, again. Individually, you've risen to the challenge of just barely handling each of these problems, but all at once? Yeah, you think you're just gonna call this one here. Useless. Which is to say, Muda, 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 Muda! Okay, so, last one time, let's see what happens when I say dubs. Dubs! Perfect. A fellow connoisseur. Let's continue. Takumi invites you into his hive with a sweeping bow and you step into the foyer. The hive looked normal from the outside, normal by troll standards at least, but. Takes off sandals, step to room. Things. I see you're admiring my collectibles. Polished, don't touch, won't breathe. Step away. Dog. That was Tadashi Inu. Hang on, this isn't the correct copy. Is it gonna do the same thing? Subs or dubs doesn't make a difference, does it? Yeah, it makes no difference. I mean, it never did, but I like that they did that. Okay, don't intervene. Fast forward. Okay, so that does it for episode 20 of Let's Play the Hiveswap Friendship Simulator. In the next episode, I have no idea what's going to happen because Volume 11 doesn't exist yet. So, if you liked it, a like and subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you'll need to do either one of those things. And I'll see y'all in the next episode where I probably won't have to scream JoJo quotes into the microphone. Later!